There are so many people within the video game industry who think that they are very important when really they're extremely replaceable, and now an entire English voice cast doesn't want to return back to voicing a game because it now is simply more focused on fan service. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, we hear about situations like this all the time where a voice actor doesn't want to return because they think that they are more important and that they are so popular that they can get a job wherever they want. And now we're finding out that it's not only just one individual, but a slew of them, because according to a statement on the official Discord for Snowbreak Containment Zone, the English voice actors have refused to return to the game due to its fan service. You might be thinking to yourself, wow, an entire voice cast doesn't want to return. They must have not been getting paid enough. Maybe they were being treated misfairly. No, they simply didn't like the fact that this game is heading in a direction that they do not approve of. It is a gacha game that previously cut its English dub late last year after evaluating voice-over preferences. This means most people were probably listening in Japanese anyway. However, as the game has slowly gained more popularity, they have seemingly reached out to the English voice actors to bring them back on, which, yeah, I mean, is a fine response. Of course, initially, it sounds like they were not getting a lot of bang for their buck, the developers, since most people were listening in Japanese, but they figured, let's bring them back, let's get some more voice acting done, maybe people will enjoy this more, but they all have refused now, simply because they do not approve of the direction that the game has gone in. Imagine thinking you're so self-important that you can derail an entire game and maybe even force developers to backtrack on content just because you personally don't agree with the direction of a game. That is absolute insanity. So this statement was made on the, again, official Discord. And it's a pretty short statement, but it really does give all the information we would need. Any questions regarding about the future English voiceover in the game? Seisun attempted to contact the voice actors to restore the English voiceover in the game due to the current improvement state of SCZ. However, they refused because the game has changed its direction to fan service. So at the moment, there are no plans of getting the English dub back. Thank you for understanding. First of all, I feel awful for the developers who simply were trying to listen to their fan base, get the English dub back, also maybe get some new updated lines, people who were actually trying to make this a genuinely good product for the people who were playing it. But you know what their response should have been? Okay, we won't use you then. You don't have a job, because let me tell you something, voice acting pays so little, you take every single job that you can. Look at the hundreds of things that someone like Steve Bloom has been in. Yes, he's a giant name now, but he said the only reason he made it anywhere and made any money is because of the sheer number of jobs that he's done. And we're talking anime, we're talking video games, we're talking so many different things. If they are so rich that they can refuse this job, then okay, good for them. But the developers are also allowed to give you the finger, and I get it, right? They're trying to, be professional, and I understand that. But at the same time, these people wanted to derail this game. They deserve zero respect from us gamers. And again, we are talking about a group of individuals who are not boycotting returning to this game because they weren't being paid enough or they were being treated crappy. They simply do not like the direction that this game is going in. And to me, this kind of screams that they want the developers to change course, to backtrack on fan service, and that just isn't going to happen. Clearly, judging by their response, judging by how popular this game is, and there are now thousands of people telling the devs to stick by their product and that people will still continue to support them. I mean, if you haven't heard of this game, it's got very positive and mostly positive reviews over on Steam. It came out December 2023, and it seems like most people who have played it have enjoyed it. Again, it's a gacha game, so going into it, you know what to expect. It's a free-to-play game, but at the same time, people are saying this is a relatively fun title, and also people are saying, screw these voice actors. Nobody wants to support people that are acting this way, that think they can derail a whole project simply because they don't agree with the direction it's heading in. People are saying, poor bastards, thinking they're so oppressed by harmless fan service in a game where waifus are around shooting stuff. Absolutely pathetic, which I completely agree with. It's fine if you don't like fan service in games and you don't like the look of this game or the premise, but you also don't have to play it, and you didn't have to voice act in it in the first place. Apparently, they've got so many opportunities, they can just go to a different game. Good, now those who complain that the game doesn't have the English voice acting, tell them it's the voice actor's decision, not the devs. Yeah, I mean, if I was the devs, I would say it's not our fault. We did genuinely try to get these people back for you, our players. There's also people saying things like, a voice actor not taking a paid gig, I'll do it. They could get a whole cast of people to do this game for virtually no money. And of course, it will be interesting to see if over the next couple of days and weeks, any of these voice actors make any statements about this, because we see it happen so often where voice actors will, put themselves into the middle of a situation, and then they end up crying about it, like Pro ZD. I'm sure you all remember the situation with him, but for years he was going on about how only certain people who fit the descriptions of characters should be getting the jobs, like a black man should only be getting cast as a black man, etc. And then he came out in October of 2023 and talked about how, he was only being presented with opportunities to read for Asian characters and how he was bothered by that. Yeah, you're reaping what you've sown. You complain about the industry saying it's not inclusive enough and that, a white person could get hired as, say, a black character, and it shouldn't be that way, and then the industry changes, and you also are facing the consequences of your actions. I mean, voice actors, in my opinion, while there are some fantastic ones out there that are genuinely good people, don't get me wrong, a lot of them are just very selfish pricks, and they don't actually think about the consequences of their actions. And I feel like that's going to happen with Snowbreak, that these voice actors are going to come out and complain about how companies won't work with them anymore because they simply refuse to work on this game because they didn't support the direction that it went in. But if that happened, it wouldn't surprise me, but I would honestly point and laugh, because they are the ones who did not want to work on this game a reasonably paid gig simply because they didn't like what the developers were doing with their own product. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.